Hello again, everyone. I'm Father Joe Nassau from Sonino Mission House in Berkeley. Today we begin a new season of the liturgical year. We begin the season of Advent. And the prophet Isaiah sets the tone for this first Sunday of Advent. It's a vision of all people streaming to God's holy mountain to learn war no more. This is the Advent call. Let us walk in the light of the Lord. How far we've drifted from this light of justice and peace in our world today. Just this past week, we've wakened to news of mass shootings at the LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado Springs and the Walmart in Virginia. A few weeks ago, 4 football players from the University of Virginia were shot and killed after a team outing. And 4 college students in Idaho were attacked and stabbed to death as they slept. The war in Ukraine enters its 10th month with no end in sight to the suffering. The gospel for this first Sunday of Advent really doesn't help either, as Jesus paints a dark picture of the end time. Stay awake, he says, for you do not know the day or the hour when the Lord will come. Jesus pictures himself as a thief in the night. It's an odd image for one who we believe is the light of the world. As he says in the gospel, if we knew the thief was going to break into the house, we do all we could to keep it from happening. If Jesus is the one who's coming, we would want to turn on all the lights, put out the welcome mat, unlock the door, and welcome him with open arms. But the gospel depicts Jesus as kind of a cat burglar, snooping around, jiggling doorknobs to see if any of the doors have been left unlocked, checking the windows to see if one or the other has been left unlatched. Perhaps the one in the bathroom is unlocked, since a lot of people open the window there to let out the steam or to let in some fresh air. Someone made a song about that once. He came in through the bathroom window. Now, that would be an unusual anthem for Advent. But Jesus coming as a thief in the night is not to rob our house, but to steal our hearts, as he did with his disciples in that upper room when they were trembling in fear after the crucifixion. He breaks through the bolted doors and breathes on them and gives them the gift of peace. Jesus coming as a thief in the night is captured in a story a woman shared on a retreat a few years ago. Her father was diagnosed with terminal cancer, so Carol brought her father home to her house to enter hospice care. And often during the night, her father would wake up very anxious and fearful. They would often pray the rosary together to calm him down and until he drifted off to sleep. The night her father died, Carol's brother, who had been estranged from his father, was actually sitting up with him. And he fell asleep. The brother fell asleep in the chair next to the father's bed. When he awoke early in the morning, his father was dead. When Carol entered the room, she said she was afraid to look at her dad because in the previous nights when she would come in to her dad's room, the look on his face was one of fright. And she expected to see this look of fear frozen on her father's face, just like she had seen so many nights before when his fear of death was magnified. But to her surprise, she saw her father very much at peace. His face was serene. He could almost detect, she could almost detect a slight smile creasing her father's face. Carol said it dawned on her that death had come like a thief in the night, not to rob her father of life, but to rob death of its power. My dad went from life to life, Carol said, claimed by Christ. Jesus uses that image of the thief in the night to keep us on guard and not to lose faith. As Carol said, Jesus comes like a thief, not to rob our house or to steal away our hope. Quite the contrary. Jesus comes to rob death of its power. Jesus will steal away the darkness, the evil, the sin. His light will illuminate the dark shadows and steal the night, robbing the darkness of its power. The challenge is to always be ready to receive him so that we can welcome him home and he can welcome us home. If we keep the light of our hearts burning brightly, We will always be ready. You see, Jesus is the one who comes to steal our hearts, the one who wants more than anything for us to be our very best selves, our true self, to break through our fears and to say to us, I love you. Don't you know you are my beloved. There's so much hate in the world these days, as evidenced by the mass slayings in Colorado Springs and Virginia, and the ongoing war in Ukraine and the slaughter in Idaho. And one wonders if we have forgotten how to love. But along comes Advent with this image of God's holy mountain by the prophet Isaiah, painting this beautiful portrait of inclusivity where all people will find a place at God's table and all people will be welcomed and we will all learn the ways of peace together. We live in a world where people are still targeted for who they are and who they love and what they believe. But Jesus, the light of the world, Prince of Peace, the thief in the night, can break through the hardest of hearts to steal away the hate, the anger, the fear, the prejudice, and teach us how to love again. So classes in learning how to love again begin today, begin this weekend, begin during this season of Advent. All are welcome to attend. I pray you and your family have a very blessed Advent season. With hope, take good care.